Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade.
Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we educate, empower, and entertain. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, download, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records.
Shopping assistance, your style, your budget. Our services include online and local shopping for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, and helping you find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195 or shoppingassistance2015@gmail.com. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget.
Welcome back to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us here Shawn and Stormie Andrews, and they are both authors and founder and co-founder of Breathe. Today we're going to speak about humor in relationships, and who does not want to know how to have humor in their relationships. So we're going to jump right into the conversation. So, hi Shawn. Hi
Hello,
Stormie.
Hey there. Excited to be here with you.
Yes, we are.
I'm excited to have you both here. So I want us to jump into the conversation. Why is humor important in relationships, and how can it positively impact the bond between partners?
Oh boy.
Oh boy, who wants to take this one?
But I'll take it first because I think the way you put it is such a great, like you lead with the mic drop ending. But first of all, humor is so important in our lives. They have proven that when you laugh does burn a lot of calories, and laughter also helps to keep us healthy in so many senses. It helps to relieve some stress and pressure. But Stormie, because he is the more humorous one, and he has such a great explanation of it. And I think I love hearing it every time. So please.
Then I guess I'll just take it here from here. You know what? As adults, right? We've all lived, we've been on this planet however long we've been on the planet. But if we go back to the time when we were children, where we didn't have worries, when we weren't thinking about the stuff we see on the news, and we weren't thinking about just how to survive, we laughed. We giggled, and when you hear a child laugh today, it's almost infectious. Yes. At least for us, when we hear them laugh, especially one that's in a deep laugh, you can't help but laugh and have a great time. But unfortunately, because life gets in the way for so many people, is that they forget what that's about, right? Mm-hmm. They forget to laugh. They forget to just have a good time because they're caught up in their own misery. So now let's take it to the point with relationships. Why is it important? Especially a spouse. For many of you, you're going to spend your rest of your lives with that person. Mm-hmm. Who wants to be with someone who's not fun, right? Mm-hmm. If you're going to have years spending time together, man, I'll tell you what, having fun and laughter and just enjoying the moment and just enjoying each and every breath makes life so much more enjoyable and valuable.
I love that. Who does not want to laugh? Who doesn't want to have a partner to laugh with?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How can humor effectively diffuse tension and resolve conflicts in a relationship?
Oof, that one again. It's so deep because and we live through it. Listen, especially when you get over 50 years old, you start having joint pains, and you have so many things that just hurt, right? So then life throws all these things at us. But when you have a spouse, again, your life partner, and I think we should say like the shared laughter partner, when you have that, some of the small things, or even some of the big things, you can just push through when you have laughter, when you have reasons, when you can find reasons to keep you laughing.
In the midst of anything. everything. Find reasons to keep you laughing.
Yeah. Yes. Finding the reasons.
Initially, I'm going to go back to something that you said. So initially you said that, Stormy is the one that's funny, he's hilarious. But if it is that you don't have that in a relationship where both persons are the same in terms of they're not hilarious. Nobody is funny, nobody's hilarious, nothing. How can they try and create that if it is that they don't already have it? Because, you have a partner that does it. And the flip side is some people who have a partner, one of them, is a funny one, the hilarious one, the other person always tend to see the other person as, you're not serious. How do you go about that?
How do you balance? How do you bring out humor? Stormy, I'm the serious one. Stormy does bring out the humor. How do you do it, Stormy?
Yeah, sometimes I get in trouble doing it.
Okay.
Right? But fortunately, I can laugh about it after I'm done getting in trouble. Because, there are times where I want to bring humor into something and Shawn's like, hey, this isn't the right time. This isn't the right time. It's not appropriate at this moment. And I'll still try and make a joke out of that. Sometimes I don't read the room and I get more trouble.
Or I laugh.
Or you laugh, right? Or you laugh, absolutely. And a few times over, I think sometimes she just gives up her hands and she says, that's my husband. That's just who he is. Other times, like she says, she laughs. Other times I get in trouble. But when I'm in trouble and I step out the room, I start giggling. I'm still laughing, right? So it's, life's too short to be serious. And we've all had moments where we've gone into areas and we've gone into these deep places where we're just deep in despair. We've all been there, myself included, right? And we've been there. And the sooner that you can get out and just laugh, it makes those moments seem to pass faster, and it gets you to moments that you can enjoy with a greater degree, especially when you got a partner.
And I think our book really, and this was a brainchild of Stormy too. I will have to say, he came home one day and said, hey, I have an idea for our book. And actually, let's go back.
Let's back up a little bit. So, when we got married, we said, hey, one of the things that we want to create and bring into the world is a book that we can build together. And we're both in business, right? We're both in business. We worked with, from small businesses to Fortune 500 companies. And when it comes to business, we're serious about business. So when we made the commitment to write a book together, we just both naturally assumed that it was going to be some sort of a business book. I'm a 3-time author. This is Shawn's first book. And we just thought we're going to create some business nuggets and knowledge bombs that we would drop on people.
Serious
stuff until I came home with the grand idea of this book. And I was a little nervous when I brought up the book because I had to share the title, but I made sure I wasn't standing next to her. And I made sure that there was a door nearby in case I phoned in what the idea was, but I was able to get through it.
And he spoke really fast after he said the book. He told me the whole premise. Really, he did it so rapidly.
I started.
It made me chuckle, and it made me laugh, and it made all the sense in the world. Because at the end of the day, we have responsibilities. We have so many things that we need to solve, and there's so many serious aspects of our lives as adults. But even with him telling the story, just telling it brought so much humor. So it's just a reminder of, man, if you lose humor, you start aging. You start deteriorating. You physically do. And even just when, like with your laugh is so infectious.
Absolutely.
And it makes me laugh. And I can tell, because right now you can't see us, but I'm looking at this reflection. Every time I laugh, my posture even changes. I feel oxygen going through my body a little bit more evenly. And I look younger. Every moment of laughter adds, it seems that it adds a little bit more to your life, a little bit more fulfillment to your life.
Where should couples draw the line with humor to ensure it remains respectful and it doesn't hurt the other person's feelings?
Yeah, there are areas when it's something that's serious, it's acknowledging the other acknowledging the pain that because remember, I'm the one that's more likely to bring humor into it. So I do my best to basically read the room. If Shawn's in an area where she's dealing with emotional distress for whatever the reason may be, she's had a tough day, I'll do my best to acknowledge that, give her comfort, and then, maybe do little things after I give some hugs and some pecks to get her to smile. Then once I get that little smile, then I may go into it.
And on the other hand, Jade, I do try my best to bring humor, but I'm not as good with jokes.
I think you need to stop saying that, because I think you are good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because being there, you have said statements, and both of you are the same. I mean, I get what you're saying with Andrew, but you add to it. You may not be like him, and that's okay, because to have two persons with that big personality would probably, will take over the world.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
have the balance. You are humorous, but you're doing it in your own way. So it's two different styles, and that's okay.
That is true. Thank you.
There it is.
So, can humor contribute to emotional and physical intimacy between partners?
Yeah. Yes, I think so. And we've experienced it. And remember, we've only been married a year. Stormie was married before for 30 years, and this is my first marriage. So through this, not only what we've experienced, but what we've learned from other relationships and other couples, and from our observation of what they have shared with us, that even in the most dire and intimate settings, humor changes the whole scope in a positive way, in such a positive way. I don't know. You have a great, you shared something the other day with me about that.
Well, I don't remember what it was, but going, okay. Yes, you don't throw it back on me. I don't remember what happened 10 minutes ago, right? But I can tell you, when you bring in intimacy, it's certainly more enjoyable having an intimate moment when we each got a smile on our face.
True, very true, very true.
And we can have fun with it, right? I mean, they're just we can have fun with it, and then it's not just about the act. You can have more foreplay, and you can have more, just more enjoyable moments, because it's just not that serious. And then even the act of intimacy is just that much more enjoyable. And
it makes you want to be together much more.
Right.
Because you know that it's not going to just be, oh my God, it's a chore. It's going to be fun. It almost brings out a little child in enjoyment, the laughter, the happiness. So right. So it does do that. How do cultural differences influence humor in relationships? And what can couples do to navigate these differences?
That's interesting.
It's interesting because we have some cultural differences.
Yes, we do. First of all, we're interfaith couple. So I'm Jewish, Stormie is Christian, and there's a lot of similarities there, but a lot of differences. Then in fact, as a woman and a man, there's a lot of similarities, but so many differences. Yes. And if we did not, just as we said in the book, or we express in the book, if we did not find the humor in our differences, then we can easily divide, because we can focus on the differences in a negative way. Instead, with wisdom and with humor, we see the compatibility is with the similarity, but the differences allow you to learn from each other and grow from each other. So you do that, even in comparison, and I'm going to throw this back on you, Stormie, but even in comparison with women and men, the way we navigate through challenges. Like you have a very, very good saying about this, and I can't help but to laugh the way you present it.
I don't know what saying are you referring to. I'm gonna get the saying wrong.
Deer.
Oh, the deer. Yes. Okay, got it. Yes. But yeah, the way we deal with things, and this was something that and I read this someplace, and it's something that made a ton of sense to me. And it basically said, how did men, we think about the way men process things versus the way women process things. And they say, if you go back, thousands of years when we were hunter and gatherers, we had a scenario that the men of the village would get together in the morning. They would go out and they got to hunt for a deer. The only thing they're focused on is indeed that deer, because if they don't, if too many days go by without catching that deer, the village doesn't eat. So that's what they're focused on. We get in the morning, we got to get the deer. And we would hunt in packs back then. You didn't go out individually, you go out in packs. And the one that was most successful of catching that deer was like the hero for the day. So it's the fact of being that hero drove the motivation, because now if I didn't catch the deer, I want to go back out. I want to be the hero. That's probably why, if you think about sports, and not saying that sports are, strictly for men, because it's not. But if you just think about, historically throughout time, the philosophy through it. But let's think about the women. When they were inside those villages, man, they had a lot more to do than just focus on a deer. They were gathering, the vegetables and the fruits, making sure that no predators were coming into the village, watching over the kids. They had a lot more going on. So they were able to multitask and focus on lots of things simultaneously, where the guys, one thing and one thing only. And if they did catch the deer, they wanted to come back into the village with the hero's welcome. I'm the hero. Yes, let me pound on my chest. And if you look at that, over generations, and I probably butchered the story, but that story made a lot of sense to me, because when I do things, I can focus intently and go deep on one thing and one thing only. Okay. Sometimes it drives Shawn crazy because she's thinking about 20 different things, and I have no idea what any of them are, because I'm still on the one thing that I started a week ago. Right? So
he's on his deer.
I'm on my deer. And I keep saying, listen, I'm on a deer right now. You can't bring that in because I'm on the hunt. And as we've shared that with others, they're like, I agree. Right. So there seems like something to it. And I think it makes, what's that?
That's perfect.
Yeah, there it is. So
Right.
Perfect. And sometimes it can get on the woman's skin,
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And especially like you said, he has the deer. He has the deer, like, yay, champion. But it's like, do you know all the stuff that we
have been doing? What do you mean? That one thing. We have done so many things. Hey, what's up here?
And we're like, that's nice. That's nice. I want a hero's welcome now.
Right.
I got a deer.
Oh, that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy to look at, because women and men are so different in that sense. The same, but we're so different. And the humorous part of it is that we need to understand the differences and appreciate them.
Right.
So also make it humor, to know that, okay, I've done so many things and I'm feeling like, I've accomplished a lot, and he has done one thing and he's feeling like a king, and I'm like, you know what? You go, I'm cheering you on, and we're laughing about it, and it's not a big deal. But if you make it a big deal to say, no, but you should have done more, why so you didn't? That's where the problem is.
Right, that's where the problem is.
Absolutely.
Let's give him his Heroes Award. Yes. Because in turn, he will also give us our flowers. You know, and it goes back to communication. Like, here are my needs.
Yes.
Here are your needs.
Yes. And kill comparisons. Killing can also add more humor to a relationship if we get rid of comparisons. Because we can't say, well, I do this way, so you need to do it that way. Because now we're comparing. And now we're killing the joy, because everybody's about, now I have to do things a particular way. Now I can't be funny like I want to be funny. No, I can't do. Let's not do that.
Right.
That takes away from the relationship.
Yeah, if I start comparing the cat to the dog or the dog to the cat, I'm disappointed all the way around.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And then it turns into blame.
Yeah.
So that comparison turns into blame. So
well, because we already know the cat did all the bad things, the dog's perfect. There you go. No need to blame the cats, because the dog was just like, I told you.
But in their worlds, they're thinking like this. There's such a funny saying that says, a cat is looking at you like, hey, you take care of me. You do. No, I'm sorry. A dog looks at you and he says, hey, you're so amazing. You love me. You feed me when I'm hungry. You do everything for me. You must be God. But then the cat looks and says, hey, you're amazing. You feed me when I'm hungry. You're there for me when I need you. I must be God. So even in that comparison, there's even humor there.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a good one. What roles does humor play in providing communication between partners? And how can it be integrated into daily interactions?
Well, you know what? It's funny. That was one of the motivations for the book. Because what we did is we looked at not just our situation and some of the scenarios that we run into, but we're also observant, and we've observed scenarios through some of our, couple friends of the things that, they were running through. And and that's why, as we go through the book, some of the titles of the book, as a matter of fact, the title of the book, right? The 21 Laws to Keep Your Woman in Check. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Right? And then as we started getting into the chapters, we noticed that I had some habits that on the surface were driving Shawn crazy. And we noticed that through some of our friends, they had some habits, the guy friends, that were driving their wives crazy unless we got into the communication and, the understanding behind it, that we are two different creatures. And that's where we decided to have fun with it. And that's where we decided to open up the veil and open up the curtain to where if we're able to shine a light on some of these scenarios, each and every one of the chapters, when someone can find a chapter that they can relate to, they're like, yeah, that's us. And then instead of continuously getting upset about those scenarios, is find the humor in those situations.
Yeah. And Jade, I think it can go deeper with, like Stormie mentioned the title. And after he explained the whole premise of the book, because keep this in mind, he first said, I'm going to write this book. And what I think is cool is if you write a book on the back, like you respond to my chapters. So the only part of the idea that I added was, no, let's do it chapter by chapter. You write the chapter and I'll write a rebuttal. And because otherwise someone may not make it all the way to the end to get the message. Right. But even after he explained, it was so clear that the title itself was one of the most important forms of communication, because like that old idiom, we were always taught, or someone mentioned to us, to not judge a book by its cover, to go deeper, to communicate. But as humans, we judge books by their cover. So even there, that miscommunication has kept, keeps us separated in this world more than it keeps us divided, more than it keeps us united. So just those easy changes. Let's get to know. Let's dive deeper. Let's not judge a book by its cover. Let's communicate. Let's talk. Let's share.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I would like to share a funny story that I think is hilarious on that. And it's we had Shawn's mom visiting us. And she doesn't know about the book. So she was here in our home in the kitchen. And originally Shawn was going to say, hey, Mom, Stormie and I wrote a book. And I'm like, no, that's not as good. We've got to say that I wrote it, because it goes back to what you just said, right? Some man writing a book telling us this nonsense. So I'm like, let's approach Mom. Now, Mom, oh boy, I'm a little afraid of at times, right? So it's funny because I said, Mom, I wrote this new book, and she had excitement. And then I said, let me tell you the name of it. So then when I shared the name of the book, oh my goodness, you should have seen her body language change. If there was a knife on the table, I'm sure she would protect me. Right?
And she loves Stormie, by the way.
Her body language changed where she couldn't look at me. She turned away. She's like cracking her knuckles almost, like she's ready. I don't know. Who did my daughter marry? Right. This is crazy. Right. Who do I love as a son? I'm about to kill this guy. Right? So, so I made sure, once again, I kept my distance. But then after we gave her the premise of the book, she started cracking up, laughing. After we read a chapter, you can just see her posture and everything changed. Yeah. It was great just watching her go through this wave of emotions from wanting to take her son-in-law out to say, okay, I like him again.
Yeah.
I think it was so good. I think that was so good to do. All right. I want you guys to tell us where. I'm going to ask this in the next episode, but I want you to tell us where is it that we can purchase the ebook, and where also, if it is that we can, where can we find you if it is that want to speak to you?
Yeah, so the easiest way to get the book is where most books are sold, and that's on Amazon.
That's right.
And yeah, if you go to Amazon.com, that takes, that's the easiest route.
Mhm.
We also have a
It's Shawn and Stormie.
yeah, at ShawnandStormie.com. And I know that, ShawnandStormie.com, what that does is that's a website. And by the way, it's Shawn, SHAWN,
Right.
and Stormie, STORMIE.com. That's a website that that gives you links to our LinkedIn profiles and links to the book and all sorts of different ways to contact us.
Yeah.
It has a link to our Audible, to the Kindle, to a way to connect with Shawn, a way to connect with myself. And so that's probably the best way. You go to ShawnandStormie.com. It'll redirect you to a page that gives you all of our contact information.
Lovely. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and talking to us about human relationships and sharing snippets of the book.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great.
So much for
It
having
was
us.
great hanging out with you.
It was definitely great. I loved the energy. I
Thank you.
love the conversation. It was so good.
Probably mine more so.
Wink, wink. Yes. Yes, dear.
There you go.
She loved your energy more.
Yes, it was so good. It was so good, Stormie.
See, there's my hero's welcome. That's my personal. I got the beer. Perfect.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much again, guys. And I want to thank you to my listeners on the Unfiltered by Jade for listening. I will be back next week, Tuesday. Thank you.
Bam bam bide, bam bam bide, badu bidi, bam bam bide.